Hello guys, welcome to the Python series, and this is the part 7. In this part we will going to learn a file handling. Okay, so why file handling is important? Okay, suppose in general programming we deal with variables, but we know that variables are volatile. It means when you turn off your computer, the value of the variable will be lost. Okay, so in such scenario, what if we want to store the variable values permanently? Okay, so we have two approaches for that. First, we can make use of databases. We can store the values in the databases, but it's a bit tedious task, so we can use files. Okay, so in this tutorial we are going to learn some file operations like opening a file, reading a file, writing into it. Okay, so for file handling, Python has a function called open. Okay, so okay, so Python provides us a open function. Okay, so open function take two arguments. First argument is the file name, and second argument is the access mode. Access mode. Okay, now what is access mode? Okay, so in order to work with files, we have to tell Python which operation we want to perform on the file, and we open file for that purpose. Okay, suppose there are some of the access modes like R means read. It means we are opening the file to read, and if the file not present, it will give error. So it gives error when file not present. Okay, why? Because when you are reading a file, the file should exist. Okay, so next mode is read binary. This is same as read, but it for binary file. Now what is a binary file? So it's a type of file which is written in bytes. We will see in details when we start with the coding. Okay, next mode is, so it's B. Okay, next mode is write. So it used when we want to write a file. Okay, means we want to create a new file with some contents. Okay, same as RV, we have WB. WB stands for write binary. Write binary, this is write. Okay, A means append. Okay, what does it means? It will open the file, and if you write something, it will add it to the last of the file, so the file not be overwritten. It will append at the last of file. In case of write, if file already exists, it will be overwritten. Okay, so if we don't want to overwrite the file, don't overwrite. Okay, so if we don't want to overwrite the file, we use A. Next is W plus. So W plus allows you to do the both operation. So it will allow you read, sorry, so it will allow you to write and read. Okay, then we have R plus. So this will also allow you to read and write, but if file is not present, it will give error. Okay, then we have A plus. A plus allows us to append a file and also to read a file. Okay, then we have X. So X will create a file will create a file and it will give error if the file already present. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the coding part. So for this, let me make a text file. Okay, so something is pressed. Okay. So let me go ahead and make a text file. Okay, so I will say test.txt. Okay, now here we will write something. Suppose hello line 1, and we'll do like 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we have written a dummy file. Now we will try to read this file via our code. Okay, so for that we will create a file, file read.py. okay, now let's go ahead and see the coding part of it. Okay, so there are 3 functions to read a file. Okay, we have read, read line and read lines. Okay, we have read, read line, and read lines. Okay, what are the difference between these 3? Let's go ahead and see. So to read a file, you have to create an object of a file. What is an object? We will see when we learn about classes and objects, but for now just take as a like a file. We to do any operation with a file, we need a file object. So to create a file object, we write like any name. Suppose I am writing f equal to, we will make use of open function. Okay, so as I told you, open function take 2 arguments, that is file name and the access mode. Okay, suppose we want to read this test.txt, so I will write test.txt and we will give the mode as R for reading the file. Now let's do like print f dot read. Okay, and after reading the file, let's close the file, f dot close. Okay, so now when we run this file, okay, so it is saying that text.txt does not exist. Why? Let's check. Okay, sorry, we are not in the same folder. So what we'll do, we'll just go to the 7th folder, part 7. Now we will try to execute the code again. Okay, so as you can see, it got printed hello line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4 and line 5. If you see, this is the content of our file. Okay, so what we have done, we have opened the file, we have read the file and we have closed the file. This is like a good practice. When you do any operation, always close the file. Okay, so in that manner your buffer will not get filled, or sometime you may get memory exception if you only keep opening the files. Okay, now let make use of read line function. Okay, so when I say read line, so what it will do, it will read only one line from the file. Okay, so it will just read the first line and it will stop, and it will assign the pointer to the next line. So what does it means? Let me run it again. So what does it means? When next time we will do the read line, it will not print the same line, it will print the next line. Okay, so let's do and let's run this. again. So let me run this file. As you can see, line 1 got printed and line 2 got printed. Why? Because we have used read line 2 times, and it also keep track of which line are we currently on. So that's why when we read when we used f dot read line second time, it not printed the first line, it printed the second line. Okay, now let's try to make use of read lines functions. Okay, so what we will do, we will take a variable, that is, let's suppose we can say if file data equal to f dot read lines. Okay, and now when we print this file data, print file data, let's see what happens. Okay, so let's run this. As you can see, we got a list of all the lines. Okay, it returned a list of all the lines. And why there is dash n in every list? It's a new line character. So as you can see, every line is a new line, and that's why the new line character came as like /n. Okay, now in some scenarios you don't need to read the file all at a time. Okay, so for that, what you can do, you can read the file in chunks. So suppose, let me take a variable like so first let's see use of read function by using chunk. Okay, so suppose we only want to read first 10 character of the file, so we can use like print f dot read, and then I will say 10. Okay, now just run this. As you can see, first 10 character got printed, that is hello line. So how it is? 1 2 3 4 5, 1 space, that is 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, let's make it 12 and or 13. Now let's print this. Okay, so now when you run this, you can say 1 2, so 11 is here, 12 in the new 12 with the new length character, and third is L, so 13 character got printed. Okay, so now let make use of same strategy to read the file in chunks. Okay, so what we'll define, we will define a variable with chunk size. Okay, I will say chunk size, suppose I want to read 20 character per time. Okay, so I will say file data equal to f dot read chunk size. Okay, now we'll make use of while function. So I will say while length file data greater than 0. Okay, and we will then simply print file data, print file data, and then we will assign new value to the file data. So we will copy this line and paste this. Okay, now save this. Now let's understand the code, what is happening. Okay, so what we are doing, we are taking first 20 character of the file and storing it into the file data variable. Okay, and what happened when the file data will reach the last line, it will return a blank line, so the length will be 0. So that's why we are checking the exit condition as when while length is greater than 0, we want to read the file. Okay, so we have written the loop condition, and then we are printing the data. So the first 20 line will be printed from this line, then it will assign next 20 lines to this file data, and it will print it in the loop, and loop will keep going until the last of the file. So now let's run it and see. as you can see, every 20 character it's reading and it's printing. But you can see, as you can see, line is breaking unexpectedly. Why? Because 20 line is written, then it's taking a new line, and then it's printing. So it's like line 3 got break into 2 lines. So to fix that, we will do simply like, we will make the end equal to blank. Okay, now when we run this file, what will happen? Proper, we can say that it got printed properly. Why? Because we are not using new line to terminate the next print statement, we are simply giving a blank string. Okay, so now we have seen the first approach of reading a file. Okay, but sometime what may happen, the file may not be present, or the name should be something different, and by mistake you are giving some different name. Suppose here I am giving te space st. Okay, so when now I try to run this file, it will give me error that file not found. Okay, why? Because we are using test and the file name is test. So in that scenario, your file will be not closed, or it might happen that program will behave like unexpectedly. So what we can do, we can make use of context manager. Okay, so what is a context manager? So when you use context manager, how to write context manager? First we'll see. We use the keyword with, and then we will write like open, then file name, text dot, oh sorry, it's test dot txt, comma read as f. Okay, now we can say f dot read. Okay, now what will happen, let's use print statement to print the output. So I will use print now. When we run this file, it will print the file in the same way which how we are doing it earlier. The only difference is you don't want to close, you don't need to close the file explicitly. Okay, it will automatically take care of closing the file. Okay, so you may forget to close the file, and that may create a issue in your code. So it's a best practice to use the context manager. So this we call as context manager. Okay, now we will try to write the file. So let's go ahead and create a new file. So I will say, and instead of reading we can say write. Okay, so we'll make use of this write function. Okay, now to write a file we can use three type of access mode. Okay, so we can make use of write, we can make use of append, we can make use of write binary. Okay, and if you don't want duplicate file to be created, suppose if you are having if you are already having a file name test.txt and you don't want to overwrite that, or if you don't want to make a same file of that name. Okay, so what you can use, you can use x. So what it will do, it will give you error if file of that name already exists. Okay, so let first try to use x1. Okay, so as we know, as we can see, test.txt is already in my directory. So if now when I want to write something in this file, so I will say f dot write, and I will say something like abc. Now let's see what happens. Okay, So as you can see, it's giving me error, file exists test.txt. So it's not overwriting the file. Okay, if you use w here, it will overwrite this file. So what X does, it will return error if already that file presents in your directory. Okay, so let's create a file. We will say w and name it as something like my file. Okay, now try to write something. So now when I run this file, you can see the ABC 3 characters has been written. So the write function is returning us that how many characters is written in this file. And when I open this my file.txt, you can see ABC is written in file. Okay, now let make use of append. So we know ABC is already written in my this file. Now if I want to append something, okay, so if I want to append like def, okay, now when I go ahead and run this file, okay, and now when you open the file, you can see def got appended to the last of the file. Why? Because we have used the append mode. Okay, now we will see the use of read binary and write binary. Okay, what is read binary and what is write binary? Before that, okay, before that we will try to write a code to copy a file. Suppose we want to copy this test.txt to another file. How we can achieve that? So we can achieve that like with, first we will open file we have to read. So I can say with open test.txt comma, I will open it in read mode and I will say as read file. It's just to identify that I am opening this file for reading. Okay, so I have taken as RF. There is no such protocol that you have to write RF only. You can write anything if you want. Okay, and now in this I will also open the file which we want to write into. So I will copy this, I will paste this here and just change the name to copied, okay, .txt, and I will say write file, and this is wf because we are writing in this file. Okay, now I will say for line in read file. Okay, for line in read file, just wf dot write, okay, and the line. Okay, so now when I saved it and run this, you can see copy.txt got created and same as test.txt, the content are same. So if you see, the content are same as this test.txt. okay, okay, now let's go ahead and make use of read binary and write binary. Okay, so suppose you don't want to work on a text file, or you just want to work with images or something. So in that scenario, you have to use read binary and write binary function. Okay, so first let me copy paste a image on my folder. Okay, I will skip that part to save your time. Okay, okay, so what I have done, I have saved a image here. So if you see, it's an image of tiger. I have just pasted it here. So now I want to copy this tiger image with some other name. Okay, so how I can do that? I will simply do like pic dot jpg, the extension. Okay, and I will say copy copy dot jpg and instead of read I will make use of read binary, and instead of write I will make use of write binary. Okay, now I will say yeah, okay, this should work. Okay, now let's go ahead and run this code. So as you can see here, copy.jpg got created, and when I open this copy.jpg, the same tiger image is generated. So to work in such a scenario where you want to work with picture or something, you can make use of this copy.jpg. So that's all for today. Thank you.